when a struggling single father and his young daughter cross paths with Manhattan's most ruthless billionaire CEO in an upscale restaurant. A medical emergency shatters the walls between their worlds. But a corporate coup and viral scandal will test whether their unlikely connection can survive the brutal divide of wealth and power. The chandeliers of Restaurant Pooh cast honeyed light across marble floors. Each table, a small island of crystal and silver. The air hummed with the quiet confidence of old money. Low murmurs, the discreet clink of champagne flutes, the rustle of designer fabric. Marcus Reed stood just inside the entrance, his daughter Lily's small hand clasped tightly in his. His navy suit, the only one he owned, was clean but dated, the shoulders slightly too wide for current fashion. Lily, 7 years old with wild dark curls and her mother's bright eyes, wore a yellow dress Marcus had found at Goodwill and spent an hour pressing that morning. "Daddy, it's so pretty," Lily whispered, her eyes enormous as she took in the gilded ceiling, the towering flower arrangements that probably cost more than their monthly rent. Marcus felt his throat tighten. What am I doing here? The reservation had been a gift from his supervisor at the community center, where Marcus worked as a janitor. A thank you for covering extra shifts. Mr. Chen had insisted, said his daughter deserved one nice dinner. Marcus had almost refused. Almost. "Table for Reed," Marcus said to the hostess, a sleek woman whose gaze swept over them with surgical precision. Her smile never wavered, but something flickered in her eyes. Calculation. Judgment. "Of course." "Right this way." From off to park, past the windows overlooking Central Park, past the quiet laughter of people who belonged. Their table was tucked in the back corner, near the kitchen doors. "This is perfect," Marcus said, forcing brightness into his voice for Lily. "We can see everything from here." 3 minutes later, the energy in the restaurant shifted like a sudden drop in temperature. Vanessa Sterling entered with the contained force of a winter storm. At 34, she commanded space the way great predators did, not through aggression, but through the absolute certainty that everything would yield before her. Her black Armani suit was severe, architectural. Her blonde hair was pulled back so tightly it looked painful. Her heels struck the marble with the rhythm of a ticking clock. Behind her trailed 2 assistants, a nervous young man clutching a tablet, and an older woman with shrewd eyes and a tablet of her own. "Ms. Sterling," the maitre d' materialized instantly, his bow just short of obsequious. "Your private room is ready. The Crawford party is waiting." "5 minutes," Vanessa said without looking at him. Her voice was frost over steel. "Tell them the terms are non-negotiable. If they waste my time, I'll take their company for half what we discussed." She moved toward the back, her gaze scanning the room with the detachment of someone cataloging assets. And then her eyes landed on Lily. Lily had slipped from her chair and was standing near the aisle, transfixed by an elaborate ice sculpture, a swan with wings spread wide, slowly melting under soft lights. "It's crying," Lily said softly to herself. "The swan is crying." Vanessa stopped. Against every instinct, every rule she built her empire on, she stopped. "It's not crying," Vanessa heard herself say. "It's returning to what it was." Water always finds its way back. Lily turned, and her smile was so open, so undefended, that something cracked in Vanessa's chest. A hairline fracture in armor she'd spent 15 years perfecting. "That's beautiful," Lily said. "Are you a scientist?" Vanessa hesitated. When was the last time anyone had asked her that? "I run a company." "What kind?" "The kind that fixes other companies when they're broken." "Like a doctor?" Marcus was there suddenly, his hand on Lily's shoulder, his face flushed with embarrassment. Lily, don't bother the lady. I'm so sorry, ma'am. She's not bothering me. The words came out sharper than Vanessa intended. She softened fractionally. Your daughter has an interesting perspective. Marcus struggled. She's everything. Something in how he said it, the weight, the truth, made Vanessa's armor crack wider. She found herself noticing things. The worn cuffs of his suit jacket, the careful way he touched his daughter's hair, the fierce protectiveness in his eyes that reminded her of something she'd lost long ago. "Enjoy your evening," Vanessa said, and walked away before she could ask herself why she wanted to stay. Marcus watched her disappear into a private room and felt the familiar weight of not belonging settle back onto his shoulders. "She was nice, Daddy," Lily said, returning to her seat. "She was busy, sweetheart." "No, she was sad, like you get sometimes." Marcus looked at his daughter, this small person who saw too much, and felt the familiar ache. 3 years since Sarah's car accident. 3 years of being both parents, of working 2 jobs, of pretending his master's degree in mechanical engineering mattered, when no one would hire a 36-year-old man with a 3-year gap in his resume and a daughter who couldn't be left alone. 3 years of being invisible. "What would you like to eat?" he asked, opening the menu and immediately regretting it. The cheapest entree was $68. "We'll make it work. She deserves this." Their waiter approached. Jeffrey, according to his name tag, with silver hair and an expression that suggested he'd spent 40 years perfecting disdain. "Have we decided?" His tone was polite. His eyes were not. "The young lady will have the pasta primavera," Marcus said, "and I'll take the soup and salad." Jeffrey's eyebrow rose. "The pasta is a half portion, sir. Perhaps the roasted chicken would be more substantial for a growing child." Translation: "You're being cheap." "The pasta is fine," Marcus said evenly. "And to drink?" "We have an extensive wine list." "Water's perfect." The waiter's smile was thin. "Of course, water." Lily tugged on Marcus's sleeve as Jeffrey departed. "Daddy, that man doesn't like us." "He's just busy, honey." But they both knew it was a lie. In the private room, Vanessa sat across from William Crawford and his 2 lawyers. Crawford was 63, silver-haired, bloated with the confidence of inherited wealth. "Miss Sterling," Crawford said, his smile patronizing, "your offer is aggressive." "My offer is generous," Vanessa corrected. "Your company is hemorrhaging money. Your board wants you gone. I'm offering you a dignified exit. You're offering a hostile takeover dressed up in lace." "I don't wear lace, Mr. Crawford." One of the lawyers leaned forward. "Miss Sterling, perhaps if you approach this with more flexibility." And if Vanessa's laugh was sharp. "Gentlemen, I didn't build Sterling Enterprises by being flexible. You have 48 hours. After that, I go to your shareholders directly." Crawford's face reddened. "You know what your problem is? You're brilliant, I'll give you that. But you're cold. No one actually likes you, Vanessa. They fear you, but they don't like you." The words should have bounced off. Vanessa had heard variations for years. But tonight, after that little girl's smile, after the father's fierce love, something in her flinched. "Liking me isn't in your contract," she said, standing. 48 hours. Marcus and Lily were halfway through their meal when it happened. A couple at the adjacent table, a woman in Chanel and a man in what Marcus recognized as a Brioni suit, were speaking just loud enough to be heard. "Charity case." The woman murmured, "Did you see his jacket?" "I haven't seen shoulder pads like that since the 90s. The man chuckled. "Places like this used to have standards." Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd survived worse. Words were just words. But then Lily looked up at him with worried eyes, and his heart cracked. "Daddy, Are we not supposed to be here? We have every right to be here, Marcus said quietly. Jeffrey returned with the check, placing it face down on the table with a deliberate flourish. Whenever you're ready, sir. Marcus opened it. His stomach dropped. The meal was $142, with tip nearly $170. He'd budgeted $120. He'd counted wrong, forgotten about tax, about his credit card was in his wallet, the one with $230 left on its limit, the one he needed for Lily's school supplies next week, for groceries. Is there a problem? Jeffrey's voice carried just far enough. The Chanel woman glanced over, smirking. Marcus felt sweat prick his collar. No problem. Daddy? Lily's voice was small. And then another voice cut through the air like a blade. There's no problem because their meal is on my account. Vanessa Sterling stood beside their table, her assistant hovering behind her with wide eyes. Jeffrey straightened. Miss Sterling, I wasn't aware. You weren't aware of many things, Vanessa said coolly. Add their meal to my private room charges. And Jeffrey, the service here tonight has been abysmal. I'll be speaking with Michelle about training standards. Jeffrey's face went white. Of course, Miss Sterling. My apologies. Marcus found his voice. Ma'am, I can't accept. You're not accepting. I'm exercising my membership privileges. Vanessa's eyes met his, and something flickered there. Understanding, maybe, or recognition of shared pain. Consider it an investment in teaching my company better hospitality standards. Thank you, Lily said brightly. You saved my daddy. Vanessa's expression softened, almost imperceptibly. He looks like he's been saving you for quite a while. It happened fast. Vanessa turned to leave, took 2 steps, and her hand went to her chest. Her face drained of color. Miss Sterling? Her assistant reached for her. Vanessa's breathing came in sharp, shallow gasps. Her pupils dilated. She gripped the edge of a chair. And Marcus saw it. The classic signs of a cardiac event or severe panic attack. Time crystallized. Call 911, Marcus said, his voice carrying command. He was beside her in 3 strides, steadying her with firm but gentle hands. Ma'am, I need you to try to slow your breathing. Can you do that? Vanessa tried to speak, couldn't. Terror flashed in her eyes. The restaurant erupted in whispers. Jeffrey stood frozen. The Chanel woman gasped. Marcus guided Vanessa to a chair, his movements precise, professional. Lily, honey, get my phone from my jacket. The assistant in the black dress. What's your name? Claire, the older woman said, her voice shaking. Claire, when did she last eat? She hasn't. Not since breakfast. She had 3 meetings, a conference call. Severe hypoglycemia combined with stress, Marcus said, his fingers checking Vanessa's pulse. Her heart rate's elevated, but not critical. Ma'am, stay with me. I know this is scary. But you're going to be okay. Jeffrey appeared with orange juice. Marcus took it, held it to Vanessa's lips. Small sips, that's it. The restaurant watched in stunned silence as this man in the dated suit, the charity case they'd mocked, transformed into someone else entirely. Color slowly returned to Vanessa's face. Her breathing steadied. Who? She whispered. Who are you? Someone who knows what a medical emergency looks like. Marcus said, gently. Can you stand? We should get you somewhere private. Sir closed. William Crawford emerged from the private room, his face ashen. Vanessa, my God, Vanessa said. But she wasn't. Marcus could see the tremor in her hands, the residual fear. The VIP lounge, upstairs, Claire said. We can. Yes, Marcus said. Slowly. Lily, stay close to me. They moved through the stunned restaurant, Marcus supporting Vanessa with careful strength. The couple who'd mocked them watched with open mouths. As they passed, Lily looked up at the Chanel woman. My daddy's a hero, she said simply. He helps people. The VIP lounge was all leather and dark wood, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the glittering city. Marcus settled Vanessa onto a sofa. Checked her pulse again. Better. he said. But you need to eat real food, and probably see your doctor. I don't have time to see my doctor, Vanessa said, but her voice lacked its usual edge. You don't have time to die either. Their eyes met, and something passed between them. Recognition of stubborn survival, of people who'd learned to bear impossible weights. You're not just someone who knows what a medical emergency looks like, Vanessa said. You're trained. Marcus hesitated. Then, I have a master's in mechanical engineering from MIT. I was 3 months from defending my PhD when my wife died. Someone had to take care of Lily. Daycare doesn't cover evening lab hours. Thesis advisors don't wait. I took a job as a janitor at a community center because the hours were flexible, and they didn't mind if I brought her with me. The words hung in the air like confession. Vanessa stared at him. MIT? Feels like a lifetime ago. Why didn't you? She stopped. Because she knew. She knew exactly why. The world didn't pause for grief. Employers didn't hire people with gaps and complications. The machinery of success crushed anyone who stumbled. What was your specialty? She asked quietly. Renewable energy systems. Specifically, microgrid optimization for underserved communities. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. I wanted to save the world. Ended up barely saving myself. Lily was coloring at a small table, giving them space. Claire had ordered food. Real food. A Mediterranean platter that made Marcus's mouth water. Eat, Vanessa said to Marcus. You paid for a meal you couldn't finish. I didn't pay for anything. You did. Then eat what I paid for. They sat in strange silence, eating. Outside, Manhattan glittered like a circuit board, each light a tiny dream or tiny tragedy. My father died when I was 8, Vanessa said suddenly. Heart attack. At his desk. He was working on a merger. She stared at her hands. My mother told me the deal closed anyway. She said that was his legacy, that he was so essential, so perfect, that even death couldn't stop him. Marcus said nothing, letting her speak. I became what she wanted. Brilliant, ruthless, essential. Vanessa's voice cracked. And today, when I was lying there thinking I might die, the only thing I could think was, who would even care? Who would stop their day for me? I did, Marcus said quietly. A man you thought was a charity case stopped everything for you. Vanessa looked at him, and tears, actual tears, welled in her eyes. Why? Because you defended my daughter. Because you saw us as human beings. Because I know what it's like to break and have no one catch you. Lily wandered over, climbed onto the sofa beside Vanessa. Are you feeling better? I am, Vanessa whispered. My mommy died too, Lily said matter-of-factly. Daddy says she's in the stars now. Maybe your daddy's there too. Maybe they're friends. Vanessa's composure shattered. She pressed a hand to her mouth, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Marcus moved to stop Lily, but Vanessa caught his hand. No, she's right. And then for the first time in 15 years, Vanessa Sterling cried in front of another human being. An hour passed. Claire had taken Lily to look at the city through the windows, pointing out landmarks. I want to offer you something, Vanessa said, her voice raw but steady. I have 3 companies in my portfolio developing clean energy solutions. They need someone who understands the technical side, who can bridge theory and implementation. The position pays $180,000 to start. Full benefits. Flexible hours. Marcus stared at her. You don't have to. I'm not offering charity. I'm offering you what you earned. What the world should have given you 3 years ago. She met his eyes. Let me be someone who catches you. Marcus felt something in his chest expand. Hope, dangerous and bright. I don't know what to say. Say you'll think about it. Say you'll let me. She paused. Say you'll let someone help you, the way you helped me. Okay, Marcus breathed. Okay. What neither of them knew was that downstairs in the restaurant's bar, Claire's assistant, the nervous young man with the tablet, was making a phone call. It's done, Trevor said quietly. I got the photos. Sterling, crying. Some janitor and his kid. It's perfect. On the other end, a smooth voice chuckled. Excellent work, Trevor. Send them to the usual outlets. By morning, Vanessa Sterling's reputation for steel will be shattered. The board will have to act. Trevor hesitated. She's been good to me. She's been using you. Will be better. Transfer the files now. By 11 p.m., Marcus had taken Lily home to their small apartment in Queens. She was asleep almost before her head hit the pillow. Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Vanessa. Thank you for tonight. Truly. I'll have HR contact you Monday. He smiled, replied, Thank you for seeing us. Get some rest. He was about to set his phone down when it buzzed again. Then again, notification after notification. His stomach dropped. The first headline, Ice Queen melts. Vanessa Sterling's public breakdown caught on camera. The photos were damning. Vanessa crying. Vanessa being supported by Marcus. The caption, Billionaire CEO Vanessa Sterling suffers apparent mental collapse at restaurant. Sources say the breakdown occurred during high-stakes Crawford acquisition talks. Sterling Enterprises stock down 8% in after-hours trading. Marcus's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Mr. Reed. A woman's voice. Professional, but cold. This is Judith Carmichael, senior board member of Sterling Enterprises. We need to speak about your relationship with Miss Sterling. I don't have a relationship with. The internet disagrees. You're trending, Mr. Reed, along with our CEO's apparent instability. I'm calling to offer you compensation for your discretion. Shall we say $50,000 to sign an NDA and disappear from Miss Sterling's life? Marcus felt fury ignite in his chest. I'm not interested in your money. Everyone's interested in money, Mr. Reed. Especially struggling single fathers. He hung up. Vanessa's penthouse, 6 a.m. Vanessa sat at her dining table, her laptop open, her phone ringing off the hook. She'd been awake all night, watching her reputation, her life's work, crumble in real time. The board was calling for an emergency meeting. Investors were panicking. Competitors were circling. Claire sat across from her, looking devastated. I fired Trevor. He was the leak. He'd been on Gregory Chen's payroll for months. Gregory Chen, her former partner, the man she'd ousted 3 years ago for embezzlement. The man who'd sworn revenge. He knew, Vanessa said hollowly. He knew exactly what I was negotiating. What I was planning. Everything. We can fight this. Prove the photos are out of context. Context doesn't matter. Vanessa's voice was flat. I showed weakness. In my world, that's a death sentence. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. I saw the news. I'm so sorry. Whatever you need, I'm here. Vanessa stared at the message. This man, this stranger, was offering help when her entire empire was offering nothing but judgment. She made a decision. Marcus's apartment, 8 a.m. The knock on the door made him jump. Lily was eating breakfast, watching cartoons. Vanessa stood in his hallway, wearing jeans and a sweater, her hair down. She looked younger, more vulnerable, and absolutely terrified. I need your help, she said. Marcus pulled her inside. Tell me everything. They sat at his small kitchen table, the billionaire CEO, and the janitor. And Vanessa laid out the situation. The coup. The leak. The systematic destruction of her credibility. Gregory has been planning this for months, she said. He's leveraged my reputation for control against me. Now that I've shown emotion, shown weakness, he's painting me as unstable. The board meets at noon. They're going to vote me out. What do you need? I need, Vanessa's voice cracked. I need someone who's good at solving impossible problems. Marcus looked at her for a long moment. Then he pulled out his old laptop, the one he'd used for his PhD research. Tell me about your company's energy portfolio. For 3 hours, Marcus worked. Lily colored beside him, occasionally offering juice boxes to Vanessa, who accepted them with soft thanks. Marcus pulled up files, old research, contacts from his MIT days. He made calls, he sent emails, and slowly, a picture emerged. The Crawford acquisition, Marcus said finally. It's not just about buying his company. His company has patents on grid technology that perfectly complement your clean energy portfolio. If you can demonstrate integration potential, real, specific technical integration, you don't just have a good deal, you have a revolutionary one. Vanessa leaned forward. Keep talking. I can write the technical proposal. I know the systems. I know the integration challenges. If you walk into that board meeting with a concrete plan that shows you're not just acquiring Crawford's company, but transforming the entire renewable energy sector, they can't touch you. That's a PhD-level project. You have 3 hours. Marcus smiled, and for the first time in 3 years, he felt like himself. Then I better get started. They worked side by side, Marcus on the technical proposal, Vanessa on the financial projections. Claire arrived with documents. Lily made sandwiches from what was in the fridge, solemnly serving them. At 11:15 a.m., Marcus hit send on the final draft. It's done, he said. 38 pages, full technical integration plan, cost projections, timeline, expected ROI. It's solid, Vanessa. It's really solid. Vanessa read through it, her eyes growing wider. This is Marcus. This is brilliant. It's what I was supposed to do with my life, before everything else. She looked at him, and in her eyes was something new. Respect, yes, but also partnership. Come with me. To the meeting. I'm not. You're the Chief Technical Officer of Sterling Energy Solutions, as of now. If they want to oust me, they'll have to explain why they're rejecting a proposal this good. She smiled, fierce and bright. We fight together. The Sterling Enterprises boardroom was glass and steel, 30 floors above Manhattan. 12 board members sat around the table, their faces ranging from concerned to hostile. Judith Carmichael sat at the head, her expression triumphant. Beside her, via video conference, Gregory Chen smiled coldly. Vanessa entered with Marcus at her side, both in business attire. Claire followed with Lily, who wore a little blazer Marcus had bought at a thrift store that morning. This is highly irregular, Judith said. Who is this? This is Dr. Dalla. Marcus Reed, my new Chief Technical Officer, Vanessa said calmly. And we're here to show you exactly why voting me out would be the biggest mistake this company ever makes. Marcus stepped forward, and despite his trembling hands, his voice was strong. Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Reed, and until yesterday, I was a janitor. But before that, I was an MIT PhD candidate specializing in renewable energy microgrid optimization. He pulled up his presentation. What you're looking at is a complete technical integration plan for the Crawford acquisition. Not just a buyout, but a transformation. Crawford's grid patents combined with Sterling's clean energy portfolio creates the first fully integrated, scalable renewable energy system viable for both urban and rural deployment. The room was silent. Marcus clicked to the next slide. Current market projections suggest a $40 billion industry by 2030. With this integration, Sterling Enterprises positions itself to capture 35% of that market. That's $14 billion in revenue from one acquisition. Judith's face had gone pale. How did you? I've been thinking about problems like this for 15 years, Marcus said quietly. I just needed someone to give me a chance. Vanessa stood. The photos you've seen, the narrative Gregory has been pushing. Yes, I had a vulnerable moment. I'm human. But that humanity, that ability to see people for their potential, rather than their position, is exactly what led me to Dr. Reed. It's what led to this proposal. She looked around the table. You can vote me out. You can let fear of emotional honesty destroy what we've built. Or you can recognize that true strength isn't pretending to be invulnerable. It's having the courage to be human and still lead. The silence stretched. Then William Crawford, attending via video, spoke. I'm withdrawing my objections to the acquisition. If this technical plan is real, and I'd like my team to review it, then this isn't a hostile takeover. It's a partnership. You have my vote, Vanessa. One by one, the board members spoke, some reluctantly, some with admiration. When it came to Judith, she shook her head. This isn't over. Yes, Vanessa said quietly. It is. Gregory Chen's video feed cut out without a word. Outside the boardroom, Marcus leaned against the wall, shaking with adrenaline. You did it, he whispered. We did it, Vanessa corrected. She turned to him. The job offer stands. Actually, I'm upgrading it. Chief Technical Officer. $250,000. Full benefits, and an office with a small attached playroom for Lily. Lily, who'd been sitting quietly through the whole thing, perked up. A playroom? The best playroom, Vanessa said, and her smile was genuine, warm. Because I need your dad, and he needs you. So we all work together. Marcus felt tears prick his eyes. I don't know how to thank you. You already did. You reminded me why I started this. Not to be invulnerable, but to make a difference. The cafe was small, nothing like Restaurant Pa, but the coffee was good, and through the window, Vanessa could see Marcus and Lily on the sidewalk, Lily spinning in circles while Marcus laughed. They'd been working together for 6 weeks. The Crawford integration was ahead of schedule. The press had shifted from mockery to fascination. The billionaire CEO and the janitor-turned-CTO were making headlines for innovation now, not scandal. Marcus slid into the booth across from her, Lily bouncing in beside him. Vanessa, look! Lily held up a drawing. I drew us. That's you, and that's Daddy, and that's me, and that's your office building. In the drawing, 3 stick figures held hands in front of a tall building, a sun shining overhead. Vanessa traced the crayon lines with one finger. It's perfect. Do you want to have dinner with us? Lily asked. We're having spaghetti. Daddy makes really good spaghetti. Vanessa looked at Marcus, saw the question in his eyes. Not pressure. Not expectation. Just possibility. I'd love that, Vanessa said. That evening, in Marcus's small apartment, Vanessa sat at the kitchen table while Marcus cooked and Lily set out plates. It was nothing like her penthouse. Everything was secondhand, worn, patched together. It was perfect. You know, Marcus said, stirring sauce, 6 weeks ago, I thought my life was over. I thought I'd given up everything that mattered. And now? Vanessa asked. Now I think maybe I just needed to find different things that mattered. He looked at her. Better things. After dinner, Lily fell asleep on the couch. Vanessa helped Marcus clean up, their movements synchronized, comfortable. Thank you, she said quietly, for saving me, in more ways than one. You saved yourself, Marcus said. I just reminded you how. Then, thank you for the reminder. They stood close in the small kitchen, the city lights filtering through the window, and Vanessa felt something she hadn't felt in 15 years. Peace. Same time next week? Marcus asked. Same time next week, Vanessa agreed. As she left, she looked back. Marcus was lifting Lily, carrying her to bed, his face soft with love, and she thought about the swan in the restaurant, melting back to water, returning to what it was meant to be. Sometimes strength wasn't about never breaking. Sometimes it was about having the courage to let yourself be caught when you fell. Sometimes the people who caught you were the ones you least expected, and sometimes they were exactly the ones you needed all along. In a world that measures worth by wealth and power, 3 people discovered that the truest riches are found in the courage to be vulnerable, the grace to see others' potential, and the strength to build something new from broken pieces. They learned that families aren't just born, they're chosen, forged, and fought for, and that sometimes the greatest transformations begin with a single moment of kindness in a restaurant full of strangers.